Hey, what's going on? Zombie here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to insulate your cabin in Sons of the Forest. Let's get started. Now first off, we're going to start with this one by one. The basic rules of insulation is that you have to have a floor and a ceiling and some walls. Now as you see, I go in here and I lose my debuff at the bottom right. I am now insulated. Over here is some examples of items that do not insulate, and that's any of the ramps. They do not insulate your building whatsoever. They don't even block the animation of snow underneath. So over here is an example of all the wall types you can have that will insulate your building. You can have cut windows or doors as long as you want. You can have two logs, so that counts as an insulated window. You can have a tarp now. Also, on the inside, you can cut holes in the floors and the ceiling, and as you can see, I have no cold debuff, so that will also stay insulated. Now, moving on, over here we have a 3x3, and as you notice, I don't have all the walls insulated. There are some gaps here, and this is an example of how you don't need to insulate all of your walls. For some reason, I'm not sure which one is which, what determines that. I mean, sometimes you can remove them and not get a debuff. Sometimes you will. See right here, yep, that one. It's just a little bit of trial and error to see which ones work for your current builds. I mean, it looks like you get a little bit of options. Some of them you can have wide open doors if you want to be more aesthetically pleasing. You know, you can do something like this and just have your 4 main entry points. Now this will be considered horizontal insulation. The main components, like I said, is the floor and the ceiling, and then you gotta have some coverage around the walls. Now there also is vertical insulation, and that gets a little more complicated. And over here I have an example. I have a 5x5, which is the most common large build that a lot of people like to build. And as you see, I have all the walls insulated, but as soon as I come in, I have a debuff. I am cold now, and everything's filled in, even the door. There's no gaps. So I found a workaround with this. It gets a little weird once you start doing vertical insulation. So I'm going to be using tarps as an example to show you. And right here I have a 3x3. And as you walk in, it's 2 stories. Now, if you look, this tarp right here is actually can be removed. You can actually have a 2-story insulated building. As you see, I stand down here and I'm not getting cold at all. Every floor I walk on, it's all insulated. So what I come to find out in my testing is that you have to have a perimeter around the 2-story area that you want insulated. Alright, now over here I have an example. This is a 5x5. This is a multi-story building. And right here are the areas that you can remove. Now you can't have like a balcony. You will get automatically debuffed as soon as you come out here. But you will have this floor and the bottom one. It's going to be insulated here, so you can walk around and do your thing. The second floor, you'll have the perimeter. You can walk around. So you can keep all of this open and have, you know, head height. I know how claustrophobic a one high ceiling is, but as you see, I'm not getting any debuffs. Now, unfortunately, like I said, you can't build in the middle. The middle is off limits except for the bottom floor. So as you can see over here, I have an example of a 5x5, which turns into a 7x7 because I had to insulate the surrounding edges. Now it gets a little weird once you get to 3 stories. I wouldn't recommend doing 3 stories, but you can comfortably get 2 stories and have it be somewhat comfortable. When you get in here into 3 stories, it doesn't seem to matter whether I have a floor on the second floor. I am still getting cold. I have all my walls surrounded. But yet, if you go down to the bottom floor, this will be fine, even if I remove the ceiling. So, another example like the 3x3 I got over there, if you want exposed ceilings, that's all you're going to get is exposed ceilings. You're not going to be able to build around the edges. Now, also what happens is once you go to 3 stories here, you will lose the outer protection insulation. So if you go up to here, this is no longer, well, nope, the top one, I'm sorry, the top one and the bottom one are good, but the middle one loses its insulation values. So I wouldn't recommend going above 2 stories, and I wouldn't recommend trying to get any 2 high ceilings above that 2 stories. So you don't want to do a 2 high ceiling and then another 2 high ceiling above it. You're kind of stuck with these limitations. But if you follow these guides, you will be able to get your insulation going in your building. Alright, on a side note, if you do go up any stairs, as soon as you get off ground level, you're going to get a debuff. See right there? Don't matter what kind of stairs, you don't want to be standing in between your levels. Now you can sit on the level, looks like it's fine. I mean, any chairs in here are fine, but if you go up at an angle on the current floor that you're on, you're going to get that debuff. I think you could stand on a log. Okay, right here. I think you could stand on a log and be fine for some reason. Also jumping will give you the debuff. See, for a second. So it's a little weird on that, but you can't be in between levels. Also, like if you're on this level and you just go just down to log, say my body drops down a tiny bit, you will get the debuff in this little section right here. So just something to keep note. If you're still getting the debuff, you might be on a ramp or something. So alright, that should do it. Hopefully you learned something from this. If you enjoyed the video or found something new, please leave a like, and thanks for watching.